Jai Baba, Chapter 132. A short while after Baba handed Lakshmi Bai the 9 coins, he began to gasp for breath. He made a supreme effort to speak his final sentence. He spoke words that would help millions of his lovers for time eternal to channelize their love and devotion towards him. I am not feeling well. Take me to the Vada. I will feel better there. When Baba said, "Take me to the Vada," Sai meant Booty Vada, the temple that was being constructed for Lord Krishna. After a few seconds, Baba, still seated, shut his eyes and sighed the final exhale. Bagoji was the first one to realize that Baba had taken Samadhi. He cried out, and all those waiting at the entrance of Masjid-I rushed up the steps. Nimonkar put water into Baba's mouth, but the water trickled out. He cried out, "Deva," and Baba slowly opened his eyes. He sighed, exhaled, and then shut his eyes for the last time. The king had left his body. Baba had exactly 16 rupees in his possession for his own last rites. He had just enough money on himself so as not to burden anybody for the expenses of his tomb or other requirements of feeding the poor after the mandatory prayers. Baba left his physical body in the afternoon, and the next day early in the morning, Baba appeared in Das Ganu's dream. Das Ganu was in Pandarpur. "The mosque has crumbled. I have been harassed by the merchants, and thus I am leaving. I have come to you to tell you to cover my body with lots of flowers, truly lots of flowers. Come to Shirdi immediately." Das Ganu left for Shirdi immediately along with his group of followers, and for a long time he sang spiritual songs in front of Baba's Samadhi. Though Das Ganu was heartbroken, Shirdi resounded with his profound love and singing. That night Baba appeared in Lakshman Mama's dream and told him, "Come quickly. Bapu Sahibs will not come today, thinking I am dead. You go and perform my early morning arti." Lakshman Mama went and removed the cloth from Baba's face and performed the entire arti. He washed Baba's hands and feet and performed all the required rituals. For Lakshman Mama, Baba was eternal. He was not the body. His arti would reach Baba. Of this he was sure. In the afternoon, Bapu Sahib Jog performed the afternoon arti with the usual pomp and honor. After the initial haggling between the Hindus and Muslims, it was decided, as long as all communities had access to Baba's holy tomb, Sai's body would rest in the same place that was initially reserved for Lord Krishna's statue. In fact, the place already had 6 feet reserved by Baba for the Lord and Master of the temple, which for eternity shall always remain Baba Sai himself. Thus, the next day, on October 16th, 1918, at 4 in the afternoon, Baba's body was placed outside Masjid-I. Baba's body was still supple and not stiff at all. Baba's body was placed on a table outside the courtyard of Dwarka Mai, and his body was given a bath. Then a white cloth was spread on Baba's body, and for the last time all those grieving lovers of Baba gazed at the Sai's body and face. The 16-year-old lad who had entered Shirdi and who had lived for over 60 years thence in Shirdi lay on the table covered in a white cloth, giving his final goodbye to his lovers. All those present cried aloud. Men, women, children, none had a dry eye. Their Lord and Master had left the body. Long live Sai Baba of Shirdi. The Fakir who lived his life in a dilapidated mosque begging for food was given a king's procession through his dear lanes of Shirdi, where every day he would make rounds for his food or go to the Lendi garden. First, on the open ground where Baba's body was to be interned, Baba's lifelong companion, his brick, was placed. The inner circle for some reason broke the brick into small pieces and scattered the pieces into the open ground, after which Baba's satka was placed there. Then Baba's beloved chillams, his needles and stitching materials with which our Baba would stitch his own torn kafni, along with some spices and an old bag that Baba never allowed anybody to touch, was placed within. Many by now had opened the old bag, which contained a green kafni and a cap. The various layers of cloth were placed, and then Mahalsapati, Shama, Dikshit and Bhuti lifted up Baba's body and slowly with the other devotees put Baba's body into the womb of Mother Earth. There was a deep, deafening silence as people around still could not believe that there, always loving but temperamental and grumpy, kind-hearted father, mother, brother, friend, master, guru, who only loved and gave and took upon all their sufferings and problems, would never be seen physically walking the lanes of Shirdi again, saying, Allah Malik hai, Allah bhala karega. The only consolation which all his children had and have even now are the promises that he gave to one and all. He promised us that through his very tomb he will take care of us, that he is not this body but he is one with the Eternal One, that if we take one step towards him, he would in turn take 1,000 steps towards us. If we ask him something with true love and devotion, he would truly answer us, that he has not gone anywhere, he is always with those who truly love him, that he was, is and will always be the slave of his children. We have his promises to console us. He called the mosque Masjid-i or Dwarkamai, telling one and all about the importance of the goddess, that he lived in the shelter of the goddess. He was so loving, only a mother can be this loving. If you have Baba Sai, then you have the Divine Mother with you too. I believe in the expression which Avatar Meher Baba spoke about Sai Baba of Shirdi. Meher Baba said, Sai is Kutub-e-Irshad, the master of the universe. Peace be to all. Baba Sai is always with us. He has gone nowhere. He lives within our hearts, in our breath, the Sai in our lives. Baba Sai be with us always. Sai Nata bless us that we may be with you always. Sai is our life. He is our love. He is Sai Baba, our Sai Baba, the Lord and Master of the entire creation. Jai Sai.